quitting smoking can feel like climbing a mountain barefoot. You may have tried countless times, and each attempt might leave you frustrated and defeated. But here's the thing, you aren't alone, and it isn't about willpower alone. Understanding the psychological hold nicotine has on you and taking strategic steps can be the key to breaking free. In this guide, we'll walk you through practical tips, psychological insights, and expert backed strategies to help you finally stop smoking and regain control over your life. Whether it's the 5th or 15th attempt, there's always hope. Let's make this time the one that sticks. Why is it so hard to quit smoking? Let's be honest, quitting smoking is one of the toughest battles you can face. And it's not just because of the physical addiction to nicotine. In fact, the psychological grip often feels much stronger. Smoking quickly becomes a comfort, a habit that wraps around your daily life like a warm blanket. It's what you turn to when you're stressed, anxious, or even bored. So it's no wonder that breaking free can feel so daunting. According to Dr. Judson Brewer, author of The Craving Mind, our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that bring us pleasure. When you smoke, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good hormone, which creates a temporary sense of relaxation and satisfaction. But here's the catch. The more you rely on cigarettes to cope, the stronger that link becomes in your brain. It's what psychologists call a reinforced habit loop. The good news? With awareness and the right strategies, you can disrupt that loop and build healthier coping mechanisms. Nicotine withdrawal also complicates the process. It can trigger irritability, restlessness, and even depression. This happens because your brain becomes so accustomed to the extra dopamine boost from smoking that without it, you're left feeling down. But remember, these symptoms are temporary, usually peaking within the first few days and slowly fading away. Understanding this can help you push through those tough moments, knowing there's relief on the other side. Create your own stop smoking plan. Everyone's journey to quitting smoking is unique, so having a personalized plan can make a huge difference. Imagine trying to navigate a dark forest without a map. You're bound to get lost. But with a plan, you've got a clear path forward, even when those nicotine cravings try to steer you off course. This is where taking the time to craft a stop smoking strategy becomes crucial. It's not just about saying, I'm going to quit, but figuring out how you'll do it. A solid plan starts with understanding your motivation. Are you quitting for your health, your family, or simply because you're tired of feeling controlled by cigarettes? Whatever your reason, write it down. Keep it somewhere you can see daily, especially during those moments of weakness. And let's be real, there will be moments when quitting feels impossible. That's why having a tangible reminder of your why can keep you anchored. Reflect on these questions. Before jumping headfirst into quitting, take some time to reflect on your smoking habits. Ask yourself, why do I smoke? Is it for stress relief, social reasons, or boredom? What triggers my urge to smoke? Is it certain people, places, or emotions? What do I enjoy about smoking? Be honest with yourself here. It's okay to acknowledge the positives. What are the downsides of smoking? List out the costs, both financially and health-wise. What benefits do I hope to gain by quitting? Picture your life smoke-free. These questions are designed to bring awareness to the unconscious habits you've developed over the years. Once you identify the reasons behind your smoking, you can start to dismantle the behaviors tied to it. Awareness is the first step toward change. Implement START to begin your journey. If you're not sure where to begin, consider using the START method. It's a straightforward strategy that's helped many people quit smoking successfully. S. Set a quit date. Choose a day within the next 2 weeks so you have time to prepare, but not so much time that you lose motivation. T. Tell family, friends, and colleagues. Letting others know your plan helps create a support system and keeps you accountable. A. Anticipate and plan for challenges. Understand that cravings will come. Have strategies in place to deal with them, whether it's chewing gum, deep breathing, or going for a walk. Remove cigarettes and other tobacco products. Clear out anything that could tempt you to relapse, including ashtrays, lighters, and even that emergency pack you've kept hidden. T. Talk to a professional. Whether it's a counselor, your doctor, or a support group, having someone in your corner can significantly boost your chances of success. The START method emphasizes preparation, support, and proactive steps to ensure you stay on track. Quitting doesn't have to be a lonely road. There's plenty of help available if you reach out. Identify your smoking triggers. One of the most crucial steps in quitting smoking is identifying what triggers your urge to light up. Think of triggers as those sneaky culprits that nudge you towards smoking, even when you've sworn you're done. Triggers vary for everyone. For some, it might be that morning cup of coffee. For others, it's the stress of a demanding workday or simply boredom. The key here is awareness. Once you identify your smoking triggers, you can develop strategies to avoid or manage them. Studies have shown that habits are often formed through cue and response cycles. Smoking becomes your automatic response to a specific cue, like having a drink with friends or feeling anxious. To break this cycle, you need to disrupt the link between the cue and your response. For instance, if stress drives you to smoke, finding an alternative stress reliever can be a game changer. Instead of reaching for a cigarette, try taking a few deep breaths, listening to your favorite song, or even stepping outside for fresh air. Keep in mind that triggers can be both physical and emotional. For some, it's the smell of tobacco, while for others, it might be that wave of nostalgia when you pass by the place where you used to smoke with friends. Understanding the root of your cravings will help you regain control over them. Remember, you're not powerless. You just need the right tools to navigate those moments. Using a craving journal. If you're serious about quitting, consider keeping a craving journal. This might sound like a lot of work, but trust me, it's a powerful tool. Every time you feel the urge to smoke, jot down the time, your feelings, the situation, and how strong the craving is on a scale of 1 to 10. Over time, you'll notice patterns emerging. Maybe you crave cigarettes more after a heated argument, or perhaps it's when you're alone at night. Recognizing these patterns can help you preemptively address them. One study published in the Journal of Smoking Cessation found that people who kept a craving journal were significantly more likely to stick to their quit smoking plans. Why? Because it brings a layer of mindfulness to the process. Instead of reacting impulsively, you become aware of what's driving you to smoke. When you see those patterns written out, it's like holding up a mirror to your habits. And that awareness can be the spark you need to make different choices. Are you smoking to cope with feelings? Let's get real for a moment. Many of us smoke not because we enjoy it, but because it helps us escape uncomfortable feelings. Whether it's stress, loneliness, anxiety, or even sadness, cigarettes become a coping mechanism. But here's the truth. Using smoking as a crutch only pushes those feelings down temporarily. They come back up, sometimes stronger than before, making you reach for yet another cigarette. According to psychologist Dr. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, avoiding emotions only deepens the psychological grip they have on you. Emotions are data, not directives, she explains. In other words, those feelings are trying to tell you something. Instead of smoking to silence them, what if you listen to what they're trying to convey? Perhaps it's a sign that something in your life needs to change. Next time you feel the urge to smoke, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I truly need in this moment? Often, the answer isn't a cigarette, but a moment of calm, a conversation with a friend, or simply a break. Once you realize that, you can start to find healthier ways to meet those needs. Now that you've identified your smoking triggers, it's time to take proactive steps to avoid them. Let's face it, you can't always change your environment, but you can change how you react to it. The key is to prepare for those moments when temptation strikes. Think of this as arming yourself with a toolbox of strategies. You wouldn't go into battle without a plan, right? First, change your routines. If you usually smoke while having coffee in the morning, switch to tea or take your drink somewhere new. The idea is to break that mental link between activities and smoking. This concept is rooted in the psychological theory of associative learning, where your brain pairs certain activities with the reward of nicotine. By changing up your routine, you can gradually weaken those associations. Another tactic is to avoid social triggers. Let's say you always smoke when hanging out with certain friends. For now, you might need to take a break from those settings, or at least be upfront about your goal to quit. Ask for their support. Real friends will understand. Lastly, consider replacing the act of smoking with something else. Keep healthy snacks like carrot sticks or sunflower seeds on hand. If it's the act of holding a cigarette you miss, try using a pen or stress ball instead. It sounds simple, but it works because it keeps your hands and mouth busy. The little habits matter more than you think. We won't sugarcoat it. Nicotine withdrawal is tough. It can feel like your body is rebelling against you, making the whole process of quitting seem like a cruel joke. But here's the thing. Those intense feelings of irritability, restlessness, and even sadness are temporary. You aren't going crazy. Your brain is simply adjusting to life without nicotine. Nicotine withdrawal occurs because your body has become dependent on that regular hit of dopamine. Without it, you might feel like you've lost a crutch that was helping you stand. But the truth is, nicotine was more like a Band-Aid covering up the real issues. Once you push through those initial tough days, your body starts to recalibrate. It gets easier. One trick is to remind yourself that withdrawal symptoms peak in the first few days and start to fade after about a week. Just take it one day at a time. And if you're struggling, remind yourself why you're doing this. Write down your reasons for quitting and read them whenever you're tempted to light up. It can serve as a powerful motivator to keep going, even when the cravings hit hard. Nicotine withdrawal can show up in sneaky ways. It's not just about the intense cravings, it's the little things that catch you off guard. Here's what you might experience. Increased irritability. You may find yourself snapping at loved ones. That's just your brain adjusting. Take a deep breath. Insomnia or restless sleep. Without nicotine, your sleep cycle needs time to regulate itself. Try relaxing bedtime routines to wind down. Difficulty concentrating. Without that familiar nicotine boost, focusing can feel like trying to read in the dark. This too will pass. Hunger or increased appetite. Your body might confuse nicotine cravings with hunger. Try sipping water or chewing gum to curb these feelings. Feelings of anxiety or sadness. It's common to feel down when you quit smoking. Remember, this is your body healing. Don't hesitate to reach out for support if needed. Understanding that these symptoms are normal and temporary can help you push through. It's all about survival mode in the beginning, but once you're past this phase, the freedom you'll feel is worth it. Cravings can sneak up on you when you least expect it, like an uninvited guest who just won't leave. But the good news? Cravings don't last forever. In fact, most cravings only last about 5 to 10 minutes. If you can distract yourself, even for that short time, you can ride it out. One effective technique is the 4Ds. Delay. When a craving hits, tell yourself to wait for 10 minutes. Often the urge will pass in that time. Deep breathing. Take slow, deep breaths to calm your mind and reduce stress. It's amazing how much better you'll feel after just a few deep breaths. Drink water. Sometimes cravings are just a sign of dehydration. Plus, the act of drinking water keeps your hands and mouth busy. Do something else. Distract yourself with a quick activity like going for a walk, listening to music, or even brushing your teeth. There's also the psychological concept of urge surfing, where you mentally picture your craving like a wave. It rises, peaks, and eventually falls. If you can ride that wave without giving in, you come out stronger on the other side. It's all about training your mind to see cravings as temporary, not as commands that must be obeyed. Okay, so you're having one of those moments where a cigarette feels like the only thing that can save you. Maybe you're at a party, or maybe stress at work is pushing you to your limit. Before you reach for that cigarette, pause. Remember, cravings are powerful but temporary. It's all about having strategies on hand to distract and calm yourself until the urge passes. One quick tip: chew gum or suck on hard candy. It might sound simple, but keeping your mouth busy tricks your brain into thinking it's getting that oral stimulation it craves. Another powerful technique is to try grounding. Focus on your surroundings. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This pulls your mind away from the craving and into the present moment. And don't underestimate the power of physical activity. A short burst of exercise, even if it's just a brisk walk around the block, can release endorphins that counteract the stress or anxiety driving your craving. Or try shaking things up by splashing cold water on your face. It can snap you out of a craving like a splash of reality. One common concern people have when quitting smoking is the fear of gaining weight. And yes, it's true. When you quit smoking, your metabolism slows down a bit, and food can start to taste better. But don't let that discourage you. The health benefits of quitting far outweigh a few extra pounds. Plus, there are ways to manage your weight without sacrificing your progress. First, focus on eating nutrient-dense foods that keep you full for longer. Instead of reaching for chips or sweets, opt for fresh fruits, veggies, nuts, or whole grains. These foods not only curb hunger, but also help stabilize your blood sugar levels, which can reduce cravings. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Sometimes, what feels like hunger is actually your body's way of telling you it needs water. Next, keep moving. You don't need to dive into a hardcore fitness routine, but a little exercise each day can make a big difference. Even a 20-minute walk can boost your mood and keep those extra pounds at bay. And remember, exercise is also a fantastic way to reduce stress, which is often the trigger that makes people reach for cigarettes in the first place. Lastly, be kind to yourself. Gaining a few pounds is a small price to pay for the massive benefits of quitting smoking. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Focus on how much healthier you'll feel and how much more energy you'll have. The weight can be managed in time, but your health is priceless. Sometimes, sheer willpower and lifestyle changes aren't enough. And that's okay. If you've tried everything and still find yourself struggling, you're not alone. Fortunately, there are medications and therapies available that can give you the extra support you need. These tools aren't a sign of weakness. They're there to help you succeed in your journey to quit smoking. Behavioral therapy can be incredibly effective. Working with a counselor or joining a support group provides not only accountability, but also practical strategies tailored to your unique triggers. Talking it out with someone who understands can make a world of difference. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT in particular, focuses on identifying and changing the thought patterns that drive you to smoke. It's all about rewiring your brain to see smoking for what it truly is, a destructive habit, not a solution. There are a few FDA-approved medications that can help reduce your nicotine cravings and withdrawal symptoms. Two of the most popular are varenicline, commonly known as Chantix, and bupropion, marketed as Zyban. Varenicline works by blocking the nicotine receptors in your brain, essentially taking away the satisfaction you'd normally get from smoking. Bupropion, on the other hand, targets the chemicals in your brain that drive addiction, helping reduce cravings and mood swings. Nicotine replacement therapy is another widely used option. This includes products like nicotine patches, gum, lozenges, and nasal sprays. These deliver a small, controlled amount of nicotine without the harmful chemicals found in cigarettes. Over time, you can gradually reduce your nicotine intake, making it easier to quit for good. It's like weaning yourself off without going cold turkey. Always consult your doctor before starting any medication. They can help you figure out the best option based on your health history and personal needs. And don't forget, combining medication with counseling doubles your chances of quitting successfully. It's a 1-2 punch that can help you finally break free from smoking. Let's talk about vaping. With so much buzz around e-cigarettes, it's easy to think they're a safer alternative to traditional smoking. But here's the reality. While vaping may expose you to fewer toxins than cigarette smoke, it's not risk-free. E-cigarettes still contain nicotine, which means you're maintaining that addiction. You're just changing the delivery system. In recent years, research has found that vaping can damage lung tissue and lead to conditions like popcorn lung, a scarring of the tiny air sacs in the lungs. The flavoring chemicals used in e-liquids can also be harmful when inhaled. And let's not forget, vaping hasn't been around long enough for us to understand the long-term health effects fully. So, if you're trying to quit smoking, don't swap one addiction for another. It's a slippery slope that could ultimately keep you tethered to nicotine. While some people use vaping as a stepping stone to quit, it's often more effective to go straight for proven methods like nicotine replacement therapy or behavioral counseling. Your lungs will thank you. Sometimes traditional methods alone don't cut it. This is where alternative therapies can offer additional support. Acupuncture, for example, has been used for centuries to help reduce cravings. The theory behind it? Stimulating certain points on the body can release endorphins and reduce stress, making it easier to cope with nicotine withdrawal. Hypnotherapy is another option to consider. By accessing your subconscious mind, a skilled hypnotherapist can help you reframe your relationship with smoking. While it might sound a bit out there, many people have found success using this method. In fact, a study published in the American Journal of Medicine showed that hypnotherapy can be as effective as nicotine replacement therapy for some individuals. Then there's mindfulness meditation, which helps you stay grounded in the moment. Cravings are often tied to stress or emotional triggers, so training your mind to acknowledge these feelings without acting on them can be a game changer. It's not just about quitting smoking, it's about developing healthier coping mechanisms overall. Why smokeless tobacco isn't a safer option? It's a common misconception. Smokeless tobacco, like chewing tobacco or snuff, seems like a safer alternative to cigarettes because there's no smoke involved. But don't be fooled. Smokeless tobacco still exposes you to nicotine and a host of harmful chemicals, including carcinogens. In fact, it's been linked to cancers of the mouth, throat, and pancreas. The truth is, smokeless tobacco carries its own set of risks. You might not be inhaling smoke, but you're still exposing your body to nicotine and other harmful substances. And because it's absorbed through your mouth, it can cause gum disease, tooth decay, and painful sores. Quitting means quitting all forms of tobacco, not just cigarettes. Your health deserves a full break from the damage nicotine can cause. So, you slipped up and had a cigarette. Does that mean all your progress is ruined? Absolutely not. Quitting smoking is a journey, not a one-time event. Relapses happen. What matters is how you respond afterward. Instead of beating yourself up, take it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what triggered that craving? What can I do differently next time? Many experts compare quitting smoking to learning how to ride a bike. You're going to fall a few times, but each fall teaches you something new. Psychologist Dr. Alan Marlett refers to this process as the lapse and learn approach. The goal isn't to be perfect, but to get back up and keep trying. If you slip, recommit to your quit plan immediately. Reach out to your support system, adjust your strategies, and move forward. One cigarette doesn't mean you're back to square one. It's just a bump in the road on your path to freedom.